Hey guys, it's Callan here from Drop Bear and
Steph from Drop Bear.
what's up? So today we're going to work on escapes from side control and from mount. Alright, let's get into it. Alright guys, so before we do the technique, there's just a few key warm-ups I like to do to get ready. So when it comes to escapes, bridging is your best friend, okay? So I want to try and keep my hands in my chest, my elbows tucked into my ribs, okay? My feet really close to my butt. Alright, so first one, just try and bridge up, alright? Try and squeeze your glutes, come back down, alright? So I'd like to just do, 10, 15 until you feel that burn, okay? And then we're going to add a bit more to it. So same thing, I'm going to bridge. Now I want to try and turn onto one side, so I'm going to lay on my shoulder, alright? When I'm doing this, try and keep your hips off the ground, alright? So I'm turning onto the side, my feet are glued to the ground. If I move my feet, I'm not going to move anywhere, okay? So I'm going to keep my feet glued to the ground, I'm going to push my butt out, try to touch my toes, and then I'm going to bring myself back in. Alright, so again, so I'm going to go up, I'm going to land to one shoulder, my feet glued to the ground, my hands are glued to my chest, shoot my butt out, and I'm going to touch my toes, coming back, alright? Next one, alright? Bridging again, as I said, it's your best friend, alright? We use it a lot. All I'm going to do is reach my hand over to my far shoulder. So I'm laying onto my shoulder and I try and get my head to the ground. So I'm touching, coming back, I reset, go the other way. Okay, same thing. I do about like 10 here. Alright, we're going to be using our head a bit here. So we want to try and get our neck warmed up. So I like to just tuck my chin in, a few of these ones, laying off to the side, same thing. Just trying to get that neck nice and warm. Okay. The next thing we have to work on when we're escaping is our frames. Alright, so I want you to think of this a lot. I'm trying to make this diamond shape, so I'm gluing my feet together and my elbows to my knees. Alright, so I'm nice and strong here when I'm framing. Okay, let's get into it. Alright guys, so first one, first side control escape. Alright, so she's got her side control, she's got her crossface and her underhook. Okay, I want to try and do that bridge we're talking about. So I like to pretend I've got a watch, okay, on my wrist. I'm going to use like my bicep, my shoulder to try and push her off me, so I create a bit of space. If I'm flat on my back, really hard to move. Right, so I'm going to bridge. I want to check that watch. I want to try and swing my hand underneath the chin, and I'm going to frame on the shoulder. Okay. Second one, if I can drop my elbow straight down, awesome, okay? If she's doing a really good job, yeah, her knee's like really tucked in my head, can't get it down. So I'm gonna bridge again, all right? I'm gonna try and turn onto my shoulder, and I'm gonna start framing. All right, now, feet are ready again. Third trim, all right? Up, I wanna try and push my butt out. I wanna try and stretch my arms, create as much space as I can. I like to use my bottom leg. I'm gonna join my knee to my elbow, all right? So I'm starting to make that diamond. Now my other leg is going to come on the inside, okay, and I like to plant my foot just on her thigh here. We can either stay here or I can keep moving until I've got my open guard, okay? So again, so I'm here, I want to try and bridge. So looking at that watch, so I'm here, I'm going to swing underneath the chin, I'm going to frame on the shoulder, okay, with my second hand. If I can drop it down, awesome. She's really tight here, yeah, okay, I'm gonna bridge. I also like to lift my elbow, right, put a bit of pressure on her neck. I can drop my elbow down to my hip, make my second frame. Third trim, gonna shrimp away. I like to use my bottom leg and try to bring my knee to my elbow. Boom, my other leg, I wanna try and plant it on top of her thigh. My knee's gonna go on the inside of the shoulder. So I'm here, I have inside control and I've made that diamond. We can either freeze here, or I can just keep moving until both my feet are on the hips for the open guard. Alright, awesome. Alright guys, so 3 common mistakes I see a lot of people make when they're trying to use this particular escape, okay? So, first one, nice and easy, alright? When I am trying to get my hand underneath, alright, I always like to swing around this way, okay, underneath the chin. If I try and pull my hand around the head, really easy for them to get control, get the figure 4, and get the shoulder lock, alright? So that's number 1, alright? Number 2 is the second hand. When I get my elbow down, I like to use my forearm to frame, alright? If you try and like use your hand here, and she can drop her weight, yeah, there's a wrist lock, alright? No good. I've seen a few people break their wrist like that, so I'm always a big fan of using my forearm, okay? Now the third one is after I have shrimped, okay? I've got my first shin shield there. When I get my second one and I plant my foot, I need to keep this knee nice and strong, okay, nice and high. If it's weak, she's able to collapse it and then she'll start passing, okay? So I need to make sure that my knees are far apart, so I'm engaging my hips, okay? It's a lot harder for her to start passing, okay? All right, so second technique is gonna be the ghost escape, okay? So I'm still framing like we were doing before, all right? Still love these frames. I'm trying to shrimp away. I've tried to make space, but they've done a good job at collapsing me back down, okay? I still wanna try and be on my side, all right? I still wanna try and face their legs. Now the forearm that was framing on the hip is gonna swim underneath, and I wanna go for the far hip. Now, this is personal preference. You can use your palm or the backside of your hand. I prefer the backside because I find it's a lot easier to raise my elbow and I'm using my shoulder. Compared to my palm, it's more my bicep, okay? So when I'm on my side, I want to try and have my knees tucked to my chest, okay? So I'm a big fan of using momentum. As a smaller person, momentum is my best friend, right? As I straighten my legs, I'm gonna lay flat on my back. I'm trying to push her hip away, right? And I'm gonna try and bring my head on the far side of the hip, all right? So as I come up, I'm trying to control the neck, come all the way to my elbow. Some people like to go for the chin strap, also personal preference, okay? So I'll show you a fast speed now. All right, so I've got my friends. Tripping, she collapses me down. Forward. Okay, so this is a pretty quick one, so you really have to try and push them off, okay? When they come back, use that momentum to get underneath them, okay? Awesome. So a few common mistakes, right, when we're trying to do the ghost escape, okay? So the first one is, and like some people like to do this, I'm not a big fan of it, all right? When I bring this hand around, some people like to leave this other arm on the shoulder. They use like both their hands underneath, all right? I much prefer to have my hand across, so framing for my original escape. And two is when I come outside, she can potentially, sit me up and start attacking my arm, all right? So we've got to be careful of that. Number two is when I try and put my hand underneath, is, as I said before, trying to use your palm instead of the back side of your hand, all right? Try both and you'll feel it for yourself, all right? Another one is, I want to try and be on my side. Remember how we were talking about when I'm on my side, my knees are on my chest. If my legs are straight, okay, it's really hard to get momentum, right? I'm not really engaging my core compared to when my knees are tucked in, all right? And I'm ready to use the momentum and I'm trying to kick out, all right? That's very fast, okay? Last mistake is not controlling this neck when I'm coming up, all right? So if you're a fan of darces and stuff, this is a great grip, okay? If I'm here and I'm coming underneath and I don't have control of her neck, she can easily circle, and she's gonna get north-south or side control on the other side. So I have to make sure I have control of that neck, all right? So as I'm coming up, I wanna try and pull my elbow to my hip. Boom, okay? And then I switch my legs and I start coming up. As I said, great for darces, all right? All right guys, so next technique, all right? So they're just going off of one another, all right? So I tried the first one, wasn't working. I went for my ghost escape. Now, a common thing that this person can do is try and drop their hip to the ground, all right? So she's like squished my arm here, okay? So what I wanna do is still try and turn on my side, all right? I like to make a C grip, and I'm just gonna grab onto the elbow, all right? And I'm trying to push it away. Now, when I'm pushing, I'm not fully extending my arm, all right? I don't want, some people, go for this sort of stuff. So I wanna try and keep my, that's right, So if you ever roll with Pete, this is what he does, okay? So I try and have my arm, still my elbow like tucked into my ribs, okay? So I'm framing here. Now I'm gonna retract my arm back because it's doing nothing back here, right? I can't move her, I can't get underneath. So I'm gonna retract my arm, okay? Now I don't wanna sit straight up, all right? This is very hard. I wanna try and bring my elbow back, okay? I'm coming up here. Now I want all her weight going forward. So what I'm gonna do is, I try not to knee her, but I'm like using my leg give her a bit of a bump, okay? I'm gonna retract my left elbow with a hand that's grabbing onto her elbow. I retract it, all right? Now I want you to pretend you're gonna like throw like a ball. All right? So I'm just like over the top here, trying to get her arm off of my shoulder. Because if I don't, all right, it's like really weak here, really easy for her to get like whizzes, come back on top. Or even trying to pummel for her own unhook again. Flatten me out, all right? So when I come underneath, trying to throw, to do like a shoulder shrug, and I start coming up to the back, all right? So, a few common mistakes, all right? Oh, actually, sorry, even before that. Another variant we could do is when I'm here and I'm trying to do that second escape and she starts picking on my elbow. Same thing, all right? I want to try and make that C grip. I want to turn on my side. My goal is to get my elbow down to my hip. So I'm here, so then my arm is free, all right? I feel a bit safe with my right arm. Still retracting, still coming up, I'm still kneeling. And everything else is the same, all right? Just the start's a little different. So, common mistakes, all right? So I'm here, okay? I've come up to the side. As I said before, I want to try and bring my elbow back, right? If I keep my elbow here and I try and sit up, a lot of core work, she's just gonna squish me, okay? So I need to have something behind me, something to post, right? So I bring my elbow back, bring myself up, okay? Number two, I have to try and get her weight forward, right? If I don't knee her, all right, it's really hard to look, there's no space here, all right? So I like to knee, it's gonna create a bit of space, so I can start bringing that hand underneath, all right? Next one we're talking about is if she tries to re-pummel, right? So if she's able to get her underhook, so over the top of my arm, right. Yep, and she swims back over, so swim your hand back through here. Yeah, and she's gonna flatten me out, okay? So, very important that once I've come up to my elbow, I'm giving her that knee, straight away I'm bringing my elbow straight to my rib. So there's no space for her to get in. And I'm really quick with that, right? So I'm just like throwing like my shoulder, my hand through. It's gonna enable me to get to the back. Awesome. Okay guys, so last option from here, okay? So as I said before, I don't want to try and fully extend my arm, but sometimes I have to, all right? So as I said before, like if her elbow is close to like her ribs, it's really hard to move it. So if I'm pushing my hand away, all right, like I have to try and create as much space as I can. If I don't, then she could win that battle and she can start trying to flatten me out and get her cross face back again, all right? So remember, I always want to be on my side here, okay? So sometimes I have to fully extend, and that is okay as long as you're wary of the potential arm bars here, all right? So as I'm coming up, maybe I try and knee her in the back. As I said, I want to try and get her weight forward so I can get my underhook, but I can't. She's done a really good job here at spreading her legs. Her base is really wide, and I can't move her. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to let go of the wrist, okay, and I'm going to try and hug onto her hip, all right? I'm going to try and block her hip, so it's going to be harder for her to move back. Now I want to create a dead angle. So if I can't take her forward, I'm going to take her back, all right? So I'm going to use my feet. I'm just going to shrink back. I'm going to try and bring my legs out straight, and I'm going like belly down. So I've created that dead angle, and I take her down. From here, you have to bring your hips back. If my hips are forward, she's going to do the same thing for me, where she knees me in the chest, yeah, okay? And she's created that dead angle on me. So as soon as you come up, I want you to control the hip, get your hip into their armpit, scoot your bum back. Head forward, hips back, all right? So I'll show you one more time. So I'm here on the side, okay, I was pushing her arm away, bring my elbow back, I was coming up, so posting on that elbow, all right, I felt that I had to grab onto her hip, okay? Maybe even just like this grip, all right? Another key thing, I try and keep my chin down, all right? Because some people are gonna try and like hug onto my head, yeah, and try and force me down. So I like to keep my chin down, all right? I try and defend my neck. I'm trying to join my ear and my shoulder, all right? So I'm blocking the hip, making it harder for her to scoot back. I tried to knee her forward, it wasn't working. So I'm gonna take her back, all right? Use my feet, I'm gonna scoot my butt back, creating that dead angle. My goal is to go belly down. So legs go behind me nice and straight. She's gonna fall down. Even if she tries to post, I can still take her down, all right? I'm going into reverse Kezi now, controlling the hip, scoot my butt back, and my head goes forward, all right? Reason being with the head, if I'm here, right, really easy for her to control my neck, yeah, okay? She's gonna take me back. So, defending my neck, control the position, all right?
Hey guys, thanks again for tuning in. So remember, if this is your first time doing these techniques, okay, don't try and go too crazy with it. Get your partner to resist 40%. If you're not able to complete the move during them doing 40%, tell them to drop it down to 30. A few key points, right? Remember that framing, right? Very important. We try and make that diamond shape. Another thing I look to is shrimping, right? Shrimping, momentum, your best friends, okay? If you have any questions or anything you struggle with, please comment down below, and we're happy to help.
Let us know what you want Cal to beat me up with next.
Release the Kraken!